Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Inept General, and today we have some more Warhammer news for you on the 15th of February 2017. It has just been announced on a spotlight video by Creative Assembly that Isabella, who was announced yesterday, and Vlad von Carstein will now have their own undead faction starting in Schwarzhafen. And we've just been given a whole bunch of information about how Isabella will play in Total War Warhammer. So to kick things off, here we can see Isabella's starting position at Schwarzhafen. She's starting with 2 vampires by her side, and that's really where things are kicking off. Now she can recruit Vlad to her party, to her faction in turn 1. I don't think there's any real qualification, so you can have those 2 rampaging around as legendary lords together from turn 1. Now, I'm not sure yet, it hasn't been confirmed one way or another, whether Vlad is still available for the regular Vampire Count faction, for Manfred's faction, or whether he's now been completely segregated off with Isabella into the von Carstein. Well, I suppose they're both von Carsteins, but they're calling this the von Carstein faction. So there's something we still need to wait on. But yeah, as you can see, Schwarzhafen's a very weird decision for a starting point, but I suppose with her having 2 heroes that she gives bonuses to, but we'll get into sort of her stats and things in a little bit. But that's the main news, that they're actually a new vampire faction in the game, not Mousillon, but maybe that might still be coming with the Old World edition, but the von Carstein faction. So let's have a look at her Legendary Lord starting card here. Now, what she comes with in terms of her gear is, as you can see, the rule Undying Love. And as I mentioned in my lore video for Isabella, there is special rules on the tabletop. If you want to check out my lore video, incidentally, for Isabella, and you haven't already, there should be something popping up in the top right-hand corner as I speak. Just click on that and find out a bit more about Isabella von Carstein. But on the right-hand side, we have some of her stuff, plus 25% weapon damage for all vampires, plus 3 vampire hero capacity, and Undying Love, plus 15 melee attack and melee defense for Vlad and Isabella when they are on the same battlefield together, which is a great little bonus for them. It's just a matter of making those 2 armies stick together and whether you can afford to have them rampaging around together all game. They also both have, well, actually, having said that, although she has the 2 heroes to start with, Isabella's starting army doesn't look great with 2 Crypt Ghouls and the Black Knight. It's not the best troops you could ever hope to start with, but there you go. She does have access to the lore of vampires as well, of course, as she is a vampire, to be expected. Well, maybe not, of course, if Conrad ever makes an appearance. Now, here's the other thing they both get. They both get access to a special building at Castle Drakenhof. Now, the special building is the Mausoleum of the Mad Count. Now, is that a little nod to Conrad? Although there are a history of Mad von Drac Counts, who were the ruling family of Sylvania before Vlad turned up. But I'm thinking in my head it's a little nod to Conrad, and perhaps Conrad appearing at some point in the future. Maybe if it is a clean split of the factions, and you have Vlad and Isabella by themselves, and you have Manfred and Heinrich and the one with the corpse cart but on his side, then maybe you do get Conrad coming up later as a legendary lord for Isabella and Vlad's faction. That would be a good way of splitting it and maybe not overwhelming the undead or the vampire counts with all the legendary lords and nobody else having any. So they both get access to this building, the Mausoleum of the Mad Count. Now let's have a look at what that building does. Here it is here, 3,120 dark magic, plus 3 rank for vampires, minus 70% cost for vampires, hero recruitment vampires, and 2 hero capacity. Now, it seems with Isabella and Vlad's faction, they're really pushing the recruitment of vampires. It seems to be encouraged. Vampires get bonus strength in Isabella's army. You get all these saving costs to vampires once you get the Mad Count's Mausoleum. That seems to be the angle they're mainly pursuing. And yeah, as I said, with the 2 vampires starting here, looking to get vampires, looking to attack, looking to go onwards, you're facing Tempelhof and Manfred. This might make things a little bit tougher for Manfred, but with Vlad, especially if you get Vlad early doors, I think you could probably take that whole region very, very quickly. Now here's her little bonus to the vampires, as I mentioned she gets, which is Dark Retinue, which is plus 10 for embedded vampire heroes melee defense and plus 10 melee attack. So yeah, kind of a reflection of the beloved trait that they get, where Vlad and Isabella get plus 15 attack and defense from fighting on the same battle. Maybe all the vampires just love Isabella, so she gets that particular trait. Now, in terms of her starting stats, let's have a look here. Isabella on the left, armor 90, leadership 85, speed 35, melee 65, melee defense 48, 430, and 25. Really very comparable to level 1 Vlad and level 1 Manfred. She has the exact same hit points as Manfred starting out, although obviously not access to 2 laws of magic like he does. And really, it looks like she has much of the same traits. She doesn't have siege attacker like Vlad. But apart from that, I think Vlad has everything she has and a bit more. Yeah, siege attacker, vanguard, fear and terror. Yeah, so that's about it. So yeah, she's very comparable base-wise to both those guys. Except Vlad obviously having a bit more leadership than both. But apart from that, they're all very, very similar to start out with, apart from that and the hit points they have. So still a decent melee fighter, but yeah, comparable to Manfred. But yeah, with those bonuses to vampire heroes, really, essentially, is what she brings to the table. Now here's a look at her upgrade tree. As you can see, a lot of stuff we recognize, a lot of stuff we've seen before. And I'll just take you through some of the stuff. But here's the front end of the tree in case you were curious. And here's the back end. Now you may have noticed there's only the one item to get in the front end. We'll get into that in a little bit. But here we go. Let's have a look at her first unique skill, which is the Ravening Beast, which is essentially upgrades for Vargeist. At level 3, it's plus 35 armor for Vargeist. I'm not sure how making them more ravening gives them armor, but there you go. CA just taking a bit of an artistic license with that one, I think. Next up, we have At Dawn They Sleep, which is bonuses to Fellbats. So I'm guessing maybe with Isabella, you're looking to recruit vampires. You're looking to recruit a lot of monstrous units. That seems to be what they're going for on the whole, which is a bit strange as she's not a Strigoi. She is just a von Carstein vampire. But they do have to try and differentiate them somehow, and I do respect that. The next one, we have Time of Arising, which is a Vargulf bonus. Again, pushing that idea of monstrous units for Isabella. And here we go, Midnight's Children, Terrorgeist bonus. There we go, you guys are getting the idea by now. Here's her one item. As you can see, there's no other special item she has. It's just the Blood Chalice of Bathory. I don't know how to say that. And yeah, so it replenishes an ally, so a targeted regen with a cooldown, 16-second regen. Enemy wound recovery time, -1. Hero action success chance, -15. Hit points, plus 10%. It seems like an okay item. Not the best item in the game, but it's alright. Some more. You add that to Invocation of Nehek. That's a lot of healing she can probably dish out now. And it has been mentioned that to get this item, it's 2 quest battles you need to do to get the Blood Chalice. As I mentioned in my lore video, again, check top right to see that. This is her great-grandmother's chalice that had been cursed with dark magics, but in her hands it continues to replenish continuously with blood, allowing her to sort of pass it out to allies for them to heal their wounds through drinking the blood, or herself. So that's the story, and they've stuck to that, which is a good thing. Now, the one thing we didn't see that is a rule for her on the tabletop is her beguiling special rule, where it makes it easier for her to hit enemies, because the idea is maybe they stand still because they're so beguiled by her beauty or her vampiric power. That doesn't seem to have been translated across at all, really, which is a bit of a shame. And in terms of the model itself, here we are, her standing with her man, Vlad. These guys look rocking out with their little vampires around them. And there was a little battle in a video that Creative Assembly had put up. Do check out the Total War YouTube page for that video if you want to see these pictures live. But her sword looks beautiful there, I have to say. And she's holding the chalice, unlike the Fey Enchantress, may I add, who doesn't seem to be holding a chalice in any of her pictures. And the Fey Enchantress has a different chalice. But if there's chalice animations in the game, then I imagine the Fey Enchantress will probably have them as well. Next up, we have Vlad and Isabella in the midst of battle, looking great together. As they say, they'll be benefiting from their special beloved rule, but that's them there. And finally, just at the end of the battle, holding down the gates, looking fantastic. So I'm actually a little bit more excited for Isabella now that they've broken out into their own faction, although it's not very far away. It's not like you're starting in the Grey Mountains or anything and getting a chance to fight the Bretonnia. So that's a little bit of a shame, but you are getting another Vampire Count faction, and that adds a bit of difference, and it opens up the possibility of a co-op campaign as well online. So hope you guys enjoyed that little update. As I said, do check out Total War's own video for a little bit of information. If you want the sort of story of Isabella, do click on the top right for my lore video on her. Thanks very much for joining me again today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this news update, and hope to catch you next time.